Hello and welcome to ILTV's Evening Update. I'm Natasha Kirchak.
And I'm Aaron Porras, here with the latest news from Israel.
Now, to begin, tragedy struck once again this weekend after a bomb exploded near a popular natural spring in the West Bank, leaving 17-year-old Israeli Rina Schnurb dead and her father and brother gravely injured. And even more worrisome is that Israeli and Palestinian authorities both believe that Schnurb's death was not the act of a lone wolf, but rather an elaborate terrorist cell.
Palestinian security officials are concerned that this organized terror network poses not only a threat to Israel, but Palestinians as well. So what happened? Well, it all began on Friday when an explosive was set off near the Dani Spring outside the central West Bank settlement of Dolev. 17-year-old Rina was pronounced dead at the scene while her brother and father sustained critical injuries, devastating the Schnurb family.
רק אתמול עוד היית פה מחושקת, כמו תמיד, ושמחת ומקפיצה את כולם כמו שאת תמיד עושה.
Schnurb's father, a 46-year-old rabbi, has since pulled through into stable condition, and despite having a piece of shrapnel in his stomach and a broken hip, Rabbi Schnurb spoke to reporters from his hospital bed on Friday to mourn his daughter as a martyr of the people of Israel. This latest blast has led to a comprehensive manhunt, and 3 Palestinian suspects have been arrested. For now, it's still unclear what their connections to the attack were. In Gaza, the Hamas terror organization is praising the attack.
حتى عملية اليوم هذه العملية البطولية لا أعرف من يقف وراءها لا أعرف من خطط لها ولكن هذه عمليات تدلل على 3 أمور. الأمر الأول تقول للصهاينة وتحذرهم أن يبتعدوا عن برميل البارود الذي يتفجر إنها القدس إنه الأقصى.
The international community is swiftly condemning the attack, with UN Special Coordinator for the Middle East peace process, Nikolai Mladenov, tweeting that the incident was shocking and heinous. Still, though, Israel's UN ambassador Dani Danon says that more voices must cry out against such acts of violence. And in a letter, he called out UN Security Council President Joanna Roneka for not yet speaking out against this attack on innocent civilians at all. This is only the latest in a series of terrorist attacks coming out of the West Bank. Earlier this month, 2 teens were critically injured in a car ramming, and another was stabbed to death among other attacks. Residents of the Dolev settlement near the site of the attack are still trying to stay positive.
לצערנו, האזור ידע אירועים, ואנחנו יודעים איך להתמודד עם זה, ואנחנו ממשיכים בשיא הכוח, אין פה שום ירידה, אנחנו ממשיכים הלאה, נמשיך לגור פה, וכוחנו במותנינו.
Moving on, IAF planes hit several targets near Damascus on Saturday night in what Israeli leaders are calling a preemptive strike. This after intelligence reports strongly suggested that Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, or IRGC, was planning to launch unmanned aerial vehicles, or UAVs, armed with explosives at sites in northern Israel.
Additionally, the army reported that the IRGC planned to use Syria as a launchpad for the attacks under direct order of the Iranian Quds Force commander, Major General Qasem Soleimani, hence the location of the Israeli strikes. In fact, IDF spokesman Lieutenant Colonel Jonathan Conricus explains that the Al-Quds Force, in conjunction with Shiite militias, had attempted to carry out an attack on Thursday, and that the IDF, which has been monitoring the plan for several months, thwarted the attack, which then led to the strikes on Saturday night in efforts to thwart a repeat of the initial scheme. But in a most unusual fashion, both the Army and the Security Cabinet openly admitted Saturday night and Sunday that Israel had carried out the strikes, adding that the IAF would continue to attack Iranian targets of this nature in the future. However, as a result of the strikes, the IDF was placed on high alert for fear of Iranian or Hezbollah reprisals. And similarly, the Air Force is also on high alert, with Iron Dome missile defense systems being deployed across the north. In the meantime, Israeli ministers, from the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to Environmental Protection Minister Zev Elkin and Foreign Minister Israel Katz, reiterated that Iran was the main actor causing instability in the Middle East, and that it therefore has no immunity against such reprisals.
אנחנו לא נותנים חסינות, אני לא נותן חסינות לאיראן בשום מקום. איראן זו מדינה מעצמה שחרתה על דגלה את השמדת מדינת ישראל. היא מנסה להקים בסיסים בכל מקום נגדנו, באיראן עצמה, בלבנון, בסוריה, בעיראק, בתימן.
כלומר, נדרש גם פועלים בעיראק.
אנחנו פועלים, לא רק אם נדרש, אנחנו פועלים בהרבה מאוד גזרות מול מדינה ששואפת להשמיד אותנו.
Syrian media, on the other hand, claims that its air defenses had shot down all the missiles, despite footage and still images showing what looked like large explosions in Aqaba, south of the Syrian capital Damascus. And then finally, in related news, while tensions between Iran and the West continue to heighten, the UK has similarly now sent another warship, the HMS Defender, to the Persian Gulf. This as the UK and Iran have engaged in tit-for-tat actions against each other's shipping over the last 2 months or so. The British Defense Ministry announced, though, that this month, Royal Navy vessels will work alongside the United States Navy to escort passing ships through the busy straits off of Iran's coast.
All right, now on a related note, the Iranian regime released on Thursday footage of their new Bavar 373 missile defense systems, which Iran describes as comparable to the Russian S-300s, and this at an unveiling ceremony on Iran's National Defense Industry Day.
But the unveiling also comes as relations between the United States and Iran become more and more dangerous, especially as Iran allegedly used similar technology to down a U.S. drone earlier this summer. However, despite legitimate concerns over Iran's military advancement, coupled with the latest tiff between Iran and Israel, Western powers are taking the latest announcement with a grain of salt, citing how Iran often exaggerates its abilities. For example, Iran failed multiple times to attempt to launch satellites just this past year. What the West is more concerned about then is Iran's ICBM, or Intercontinental Ballistic Missile program, which the 2015 JCPOA supposedly attempted to curb. And indeed, it was Iran's refusal to stop its missile testing, among other more malign activities in the Middle East, that caused the United States to leave the JCPOA in the first place.
That's all for now, so thanks for tuning in. Remember to like us on Facebook and on Instagram. I'm Natasha Kirchak.
And I'm Aaron Porras. Thank you for watching.